I apologize for the crying baby in the background. We're working from home today because of the snow. For those of you up in the Northeast, you probably know that we got dumped on yesterday and they're still cleaning up the roads and things. So you can just kind of try to tune that out. We'll wait one more minute just to let folks join and then we'll get started. And as we're going along, please feel free to use the chat box to ask questions as we go. I'll keep an eye on that and we'll take some breaks here and there to respond to some of those questions. All right. So just a note that we are going to be recording this webinar. We likely won't take the full hour today, but I did want to allow time for questions. And my plan is just to give you an overview of the new look and feel of the site. We introduced it to some of our program partners across the country and our staff recently, and we've gotten good feedback so far. So please feel free to ask questions, share feedback as you start to explore when you first log on. It's definitely, I won't say a work in progress because we have kind of the foundation pretty well set, but there is a lot of functionality that we can add, that we can play with, and as people decide, as our users and our network decides really how they want to best utilize this, then we can continue to update and upgrade as time goes on. So definitely be thinking ahead to how it's going to work for you now and also things that you would like to see, because there's a lot more that we can do with it. So let's get going. Again, my name is Laura Lee Charles. I'm the Program Manager for Continual Engagement at Interize, for those of you who I have not met. And this iConnect platform, as we've been using it previously, is really intended to create connections across our entire national network of business owners, instructors, program partners, advisors, and Interize staff. It's a network that now is about 6,000 people, the majority of whom are business owners, just like yourselves, who are either in the process of or who have completed our Streetwise MBA curriculum. And so that's really the main connection here. The great thing about this network is that it not only immediately connects you to all of those other business owners who have that shared experience, but also to the instructors and advisors and other people and additional programming that hopefully can continue to help you stay focused on your growth plan and really and continue to grow yourself as a business owner as well. So that's the idea behind this online community. And one of the great things about this new platform is that it's designed to encourage engagement and connection. What we were using before was really, it was good for resource sharing. It was a learning management system, so it was a way to access learning materials. But this one is really geared towards creating connections with one another and increasing engagement. So hopefully it will be a lot easier to participate in discussions, to share your own questions, and to access the resources that already exist within the network so that you can use them more easily. So this transition is going to happen on January 12th. There's not going to be a whole lot that you'll have to do for this transition. You will still go to the same, as of next Friday, January 12th, you'll still go to that same website that you've been going to, connect.interize.org. And instead of seeing the previous screen, you will see this one that you are now looking at. So as a member of the previous community, you will have an account in this new iConnect. The one thing that you'll have to do when you arrive here is to reset your password. So when you first visit this page, you'll click on Can't Access Your Account. You'll enter your email address and then send a password link. and that will be sent to your email. You'll be able to set your password, and you'll log in. So that's really the first step to arriving into the new iConnect. All right, so I'm going to sign in as myself here. And once we log in, the internet's being a little slow, we are now at the new homepage. So this is what everybody will see when they log in. I'm going to impersonate a member so that you don't see all of the admin stuff on the side. Here we go. So you see here that we have the welcome to the network. Some of these photos are kind of initial ways to direct you around the community. If you click Get Started here, it'll navigate you to your profile, which, you know, I filled out a little bit of things here for the test members, but you can add your own photo, update your bio. There's a way to add your professional associations, honors, and awards. Before next Friday, we are going to continue to build this out a little so that there will also be a place where you can include your industry and also your revenue size. So that will be an additional way that you can start to kind of search for others across the country and connect with one another. Those have been requests that we've gotten over the years and now have a way of meeting them. So we're pretty excited about that. So we'll go back to home. And so again, while you can kind of navigate through some of these that you see here, the tools for continued learning, connect with peers, join the discussion, there's also this toolbar at the top that will take you to where you want to go as well. And we'll walk through each one of these tabs in just a minute. The latest discussions, this will show discussions only from groups that you are a part of. So if there are discussions that you've participated in, they're going to show up right on your homepage here, upcoming events and webinars, announcements, and recently shared files. As time goes on, we'll also be able to gamify some of this, some of these interactions and some of your engagement on the community. So you can see here that we have most active members, and we'll also start to introduce the badge system and some other ways to increase engagement. So that's the homepage. It should be very easy to get going, to participate right away. It'll take you to post a message, you can share a file. And I also want to immediately direct your attention to this help and FAQs because it's very comprehensive. The hope is that, you know, if there's something that doesn't feel completely intuitive to you in the first few visits, you can come to this help and FAQs page to answer some of your own questions. Again, of course, please feel free to reach out to me with any feedback, suggestions, questions. But this really should walk you through the basic functionality of using the site, and hopefully it will just kind of make it much easier for you to jump on and get started. The events page, pretty self-explanatory. Upcoming events, as of now, we only have the strategy roundtable on here, but this is where you're going to be able to find all of the upcoming webinars, strategy roundtables, in-person events, any of that programming that we've been running on a consistent basis, you'll be able to find and register through this upcoming events tab. So it'll be a much easier way to kind of stay on top of what's happening. I'm just going to check our chat really quickly and see if we have questions. Seems like we're doing pretty well, but please feel free to jump in if you do have questions. So this groups tab, all groups and my groups. So when you first log in, you are automatically going to be a part of this Ask an Expert group and the Inturize Network group. So the Ask an Expert discussion should look familiar to most of you. And we've set it as a separate group so that it's kind of easy to find, participate in, and go back and look through archived discussions. We haven't fully migrated over the content from the previous site, but just to give you an idea, Small Business and the Law was a previous Ask an Expert discussion that we had. So you would click in there. This is the initial post. Eventually there will be replies, but this is where you can participate in the discussion by replying. The library, there's also a library that's associated with every group. So here, Nicole, the facilitator of the Ask an Expert Week, provided a model employee handbook. So you can find all of the resources that are directly associated with each group, with each, in this case, the Ask an Expert group, right in the library. And also for each group, there's a list of members. You can search first name, last name, company name, email, and then there's also a list of everybody below. And what's great about this is it makes it very easy to send direct messages to people, and you can add them as your contacts. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So the other group that you automatically become a part of when you initially log in to iConnect is the Intraise Network. And this is open to everybody. So the Intraise Network is really sort of the public forum. It's for alumni, current participants, instructors, Intraise staff. This is really where you're going to, it's going to function similar to what we call the alumni network on the previous site. So you'll have access to, as many people in the network as have signed up for iConnect. So it's a really great way to explore business opportunities, to share best practices, to post questions about your business, to connect with others that may be having similar challenges. It's a place to share your own successes and celebrations. So really, use this space kind of as you would use your CEO mentoring group, or even as you would use the other members of your class, as you would use your instructor. Think of it as really a continuation of the type of support and connection that you had during your program. Again, this is set up just like all groups will be. There's the group homepage that kind of tells you what's been going on. There are the discussions. And again, this will be a little bit more filled out by the time you get here on Friday, but we're only migrating over certain discussions from the previous site. We really want a clean start in some respects so that you are able to jump in here and start to build the content on your own. So please don't hesitate to start a new discussion, to share files in the library. If there's a great article that you've read, a YouTube video that you've seen, anything that you would like to share that you think would be of value to other business owners, you just go to the library of the Intraise Network or another relevant group, and you can create a new library entry yourself. You add the title, description, you can select which library to share it to, and then the entry type. It can be a link, it can be a file, webinar, YouTube video, and that's it. So it's very easy to engage here. Let's take a look at this question that popped up. Can we have a group just with our emerging leaders group from our state and year? That's a great question. So new participants who are currently in the program are automatically going to be put into a group for their class and use that to, talk to each other. They'll also be a part of this broader Intraise network. But after 6 months, so 6 months after completing your program, that group will actually expire. What you can do, however, is create a new group. So everybody has the ability to do this. We don't want to create so many different groups that people start to feel isolated, but this is an excellent way to connect as a class. If you want to have your own little discussion group in here as a class, it's a great way to connect by industry. So again, once we have that search functionality, you can find other people in your industry and maybe have a discussion group that is industry specific. It's also an opportunity we've had people, interested in connecting based on revenue size or any other kind of special interest. So you will have the ability to create your own groups here. So if you're interested in just connecting with your classmates, this is the place to do it. And you'll want to well, have it be a member-created group, which members, that's the only option, a little description, and I would suggest doing invitation only. If it's open to Inturize members, that just means that it will show up on this. If somebody goes to all groups, it will show up there and allow them to join. So if you want it to be a private group just to your class or just to your industry, for instance, then you'll want to set the invitation only. I also suggest that you enable the discussions in the library. Just like I've showed you before, that will allow you to have a discussion forum within that group, as well as a library within that group where you can share files and other resources. So that's the place to accomplish that. It's a great question. So you'll see here under all groups, well, for this member that I'm impersonating, these are the two that are available. But again, if there were a group that was open to your class or open to your industry, then you would see the other groups that you have the ability to join under all groups. Any other questions about how those groups are set up at the moment? We're good? Okay, on to resources. So the resources, we've just kind of migrated over a lot of the content that previously existed in iConnect, but it's organized a little bit better here and much easier to find. Is there a way to search for groups by city? So we're coming back to a question about groups. At the moment, there are not groups that are set up specifically by city. If you wanted to create a group by your city, for instance, in a place where there may be an emerging leaders program and a program run by one of our partners, that's the case in Houston, in New York City, in Portland, Oregon, and a couple other places across the country. So if you want to connect with other alumni in the city that may not have been in your program, it's a great opportunity to create a new group. So the only two groups that currently exist that are available to all members are Ask an Expert and Inturize Network. So if you have an interest in creating a group that's a little more specific, then you have the ability to do that by creating a new group. You are able, though, to search individual users by city. And I'll show you, and we can actually take a look at that now, this network directory. This will be built out a little bit more, again, by next Friday. But there is a basic search just by name, company name, and email address. And then there's also this advanced search. And this is where you can search by city. You're also going to have the ability to search by industry, revenue size, certifications, a couple of other profile fields that exist we're going to add to this search functionality. So again, it will give you the opportunity to connect with people one-on-one based on search criteria that you're interested in. And it also gives you that ability to create more special interest groups. So I hope that answers that question. Great, so back to resources. You can search all discussion posts. They're organized previous strategy roundtables, upcoming strategy roundtables, just a note, and webinars will be listed in events. So anything that hasn't happened yet that you can still register in and participate in will be listed in the events. Once they've happened, we archive all of the recordings and then they become a part of this resource library here. So for instance, if you go to strategy roundtables, they're listed here in the library. And I know that that's a little bit cumbersome to kind of have to read through this list of different options, but I'll show you our search function in a moment. So it will be easier to find certain strategy roundtables and other resources by topic. But you can find them all there. Our business books, articles, and resources, same thing. It's a list of resources here. They're alphabetical, but we also have much improved search functionality from the previous site, so it will be easier to find books, articles, and other things that you're looking for. We have our previous Ask an Expert discussions that will be populated by next Friday, like I showed you before, and then the webinars and trainings. Same thing. So previous webinars that we've hosted in iConnect all exist here. Great. And now the discussion posts. This is kind of the meat and potatoes of this site. And this is really, where you are all going to be engaging the most. This is what makes this community dynamic, informative, valuable. It's by everybody participating in these discussions, by sharing resources, by asking questions, by talking about their challenges. So we really are counting on you to use these forums and to post and participate in discussions. A couple things that make this a little bit easier than the previous site. Not only is it easier on the eyes and easier to navigate, but you will get a daily digest similar to how you do now for every group that you're a part of. Those discussions, anything that's new from the last, anything that's been posted new in the discussion forums will show up in the digest, and you can actually reply directly from your email to a discussion post. So you don't necessarily have to constantly be logging back in, looking for the discussion, in order to post and reply. You can manage it through email, which will make it much easier when you're on the go. If you're looking at your phone and you get the email digest and there's a discussion that you want to reply to right away, you can do so right from your phone, reply to the email, and it will come into the discussion posts here. So again, much easier to engage because that's what this site is now all about. We'll come back to this Participate tab and I'll show you how to post an initial message. If you want to start a discussion, you choose which group to post it to. So the Ask an Expert, of course, are those monthly facilitated discussions. But the Intraise network is really where you're going to be posting to most of the time until you have more of your kind of individualized group set up. The Intraise network, this post will go out to everybody that's a member in this community. You can choose to cross-post as well. If you wanted to share it with the network and also a special interest group, you can do so. It'll show from your name. You put a subject just like you would an email, and then you go ahead and type away. Ask your question. You can set a signature. It can be your email signature. It can just be your name. You can set that however you'd like, how your name will show up attached to the posts. You can share resources right within your post, and then you send it, and it will start a discussion. Share a file. Also very easy. The title, the description, which library you would like to share it to, the type, and that's it. And then it will post. So that's how you start and share new things. And again, under this discussion post, under resources, you can see all of the existing discussions that are open to you. Welcome to the new platform. One of our alumni started this discussion a couple days ago. And so you can take a look at what people are saying and reply. So again, very user-friendly, very easy to navigate. This class materials tab, I'm pretty excited about because we previously weren't sharing the curriculum files or the class materials with our alumni, and we're able to do so here. So right under this class materials tab, you can access the curriculum library. So you can go back and take a look at the articles, the worksheets, and all of those things from your program. If you've been out for a couple of years, or if you're looking to update or rewrite your growth plan, you can access those growth plan resources here in this library. Take a look at examples of other growth plans. There's a template for a growth plan. So it's much easier to kind of be able to use, update, reference, and even recreate your own growth plan. The network directory we already talked about. So those are really the main functions of the site. I'm going to take a pause and see if there are any questions. Or any feedback. Because again, there's some content that will be kind of loading in here, so you'll see a little bit, you'll see more discussions that you can participate in when you arrive here next Friday. And And then the network directory and the profile will be a little bit more built out by then too. But other than that, what you see here is pretty much what you're going to see when you first log in. All right, great. I'm going to share a little bit now about the profile and privacy settings. I know that this was a bit of a pain point for folks before, not being able to control the email notifications that well. You know, and here you also have a lot more agency over what profile fields are visible to people, who's seeing what. So I'm going to walk you through some of that. So this little photo up here it's in the same place as it was on the other site, where you can access your profile. And I also encourage everybody to put a photo on there. This obviously is not my photo, but it is test members' photo. So it just, you know, it makes it much easier to connect with people when you're able to put a face to the name or a face to the business. So I really do encourage everyone to put a photo. If you're uncomfortable putting a photo of yourself, put a photo of your, you know, your business logo or your storefront or whatever it may be. But having some image associated with your profile really does have a big impact. So here you'll find your name, your bio, all the fields that I showed you before. Under My Connections is where you can connect with people one-on-one. So one of the privacy settings, I'll actually start over here on My Account. When you're choosing who can see what, members only will make this field visible to all members. So everybody that's a part of iConnect will be able to see things that are members only. It won't be visible to the public. So if somebody just kind of navigates their way to this site, they won't be able to see it. But if they are members, they will. But an additional security setting, if there's some information that you only want people who you know well, who you have connected directly with to see, you can set each profile field to only be visible to my contacts, or even to be visible only to yourself. So there's a lot more flexibility with what you make visible, you know, who sees what in your profile. And you can control all of this yourself. There's also a way to control email preferences. So the default, you're going to receive a daily digest for each group that you're a part of. So for instance here, you will get one email that's a daily digest for Ask an Expert. You'll only receive it if something new is posted, and you'll also receive the separate email digest for the Interize network. So if you decide that you only want to receive email communications when a new Ask an Expert is happening, although I wouldn't recommend to unsubscribe from the Interize network, but you can choose. If you only want to see emails from the Interize network and not from Ask an Expert, you can do that. If you do start to create some special interest groups and don't necessarily need to receive a daily digest for each one of those groups, you can pick and choose which ones you want to receive that email from. So we'll come back to the profile. There's also your inbox here. Any email that you're receiving here within the community should also be going to your registered email account, so you're likely getting them in your inbox. But it's just another place to kind of help you stay organized with communications that you may be having one-on-one with people in the community. If there are notifications coming from Interize or coming from this Higher Logic platform, then they'll also show up here in your inbox. Coming back to My Connections, connecting with people directly, again, is a great way to not only be able to communicate with them one-on-one, but kind of build up your own network within iConnect. So you can do that by requesting a contact. And again, these are people that you can make certain profile fields visible to if you choose. But it's also just a way of building your own personal network, I guess similar to LinkedIn. And if you can't find who you're looking for in these suggested contacts, you can go back to the directory and search that way. My contributions, eventually we'll be doing a little bit more with this once we have more people on the site and a little more activity, but this will show you how active you are in the community. So you can take a look and see, you know, oh, well, I've made a bunch of posts. I have a lot of engagement points. eventually we are going to be able to, like I said, sort of gamify some of these engagements, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see, who's participating and how much everybody is participating. So a little bit more coming with that down the pike. Another neat thing about posting in discussions that I want to draw your attention to is @ mentions, which we haven't been able to do previously. So let's find a discussion post. And if I wanted to come to the new platform and reply to this discussion that Alberto started, I can actually do an @ mention. I don't know why that's not finding him. Well, usually it will find, it stopped searching. Normally this would find somebody if you just start to type in, here we go, the first few letters of their name. Then you'll be able to find people within the network that you can tag. So we'll do a couple more here. Alberto, there he is. And when you do an @ mention and then send it, Alberto will receive a message in his inbox that says you've been mentioned in a discussion. So if you want to draw somebody's attention to a resource, or if there is a long discussion going on and you see a question that's earlier on and you want to just target that person or just respond to that person, you can do an @ mention so that you don't necessarily have to go back through all of the discussion posts to find if somebody responded to your question. But it's just an easier way, again, to kind of navigate the site and to draw people's attention to where it's most needed. So definitely use that. Another great way to connect with folks one-on-one. So the last thing I'm going to show you, and then again, I'll open it up for questions, is the search function. So this is a great way, especially as we continue to collect resources and as the discussions are built out more fully, to get at what you're looking for. So if you're logging on and you are interested in getting resources related to hiring, you can type in hiring in the search box, and it's going to give you results from libraries, from discussions, from really anywhere in the site where hiring is a keyword. So here you can see there are library entries that are files. There's a previous strategy roundtable, so you can check out that recording. There's an upcoming strategy roundtable, so you can register for that event. This, I believe, was a webinar. So there's the discussion post, Small Business in the Law, which talks about hiring. Remember, I shared that file with the employee handbook. So it really gathers all of the resources within the site and can draw your attention exactly where you want to go. There's also tagging functionality. We haven't enabled that quite yet, but we will. So that will just be one additional way that you can refine your searches and really hone in on what you are looking for and what's going to be most helpful to you. Another example here could be maybe, accounting resources. So this brings up a book, a couple of books that are in there, a previous strategy roundtable that you can access. And I know that there are some discussions that we're going to migrate over. The growth plan example, so you can, get back to your financial dashboard. So it really is a comprehensive search function that's going to bring you to a variety of resources for any topic that you're looking for. And over on the left, you can also filter for more recent resources, things that have been generated by users, however you want to filter those. Once you do take a look at one of these resources, you can actually add comments. So you could say, I found this article very helpful, or you could say, the tools in here are outdated, wouldn't recommend this, so that we are able to kind of continually clean out our own resources and keep it fresh for you all. So that is the general overview of the main functionality, kind of the look and feel. I hope you guys are as excited about it as we are. And I really would like to give you an opportunity to ask questions if you have any. None at the moment? I'll give you another minute. Sarah has raised a hand. Yes, Sarah, let me see if I can unmute you. Okay. Are you able to talk? Oh, she doesn't have a microphone. Okay, well, feel free to type in your question. Good. Glad to see some people are excited here. And also, you're always welcome to email me if things come up, you know, after this webinar, if there's something that you're thinking of, or if you're a member of another online community, or if you think of some functionality or some resource that might be helpful here, then definitely, you know, keep that feedback coming, because we have so much more flexibility with this platform, and I'm very excited about really using it to its full extent in a way that keeps everybody engaged and really continuing to learn. So Sarah, yes. Project managers and instructors will have additional groups where you're able to share your own resources, and you certainly will be invited to join that group before your next cohort starts. So, you know, like I said, for most of the folks on the call, I think are alumni. We also have some instructors and program managers. So it's just an example of really the expanse and diversity of the network that you're going to have access to. So you can post a discussion in the Inturize network. Not only are you going to get feedback from fellow business owners, but you're also going to get feedback from our network of 80 instructors, of 80 program managers, people who have been teaching and a part of the program year after year. And they're going to be able to contribute to those discussions as well. So it's really a rich resource. All right. Well, if there aren't any additional questions at the moment, then we'll go ahead and sign off. This webinar was recorded, but next Friday, when you navigate to iConnect the way that you always would, just go ahead and reset your password, and then you're going to have access to this new site. So we're really excited about it, and I appreciate your time and attention and questions, and look forward to connecting with you in iConnect. All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a good day.